coming at you live again with another edition of Must Know Rock Guitar Moves, volume number 21. And today, what I was talking about here is the harmony parts on the backing track to Hotel California. They're nice, simple little harmonies. There's two harmonies that go together with this. Basically, there's one harmony note for each chord in the progression. So without any further ado, let me pull up my high-tech dry eraser board here. So here's what's going on. Check it out. For the B minor chord, there's a high and low part. It's a whole note. Same thing for the F sharp 7, high and low part, whole note. For the A, same thing, high part, low part, whole note. For the E, same thing. Now let's go down to the G. Same deal. We've got another whole note, high part, low part. D, same thing, high part, low part. For the E minor, this time I've got two individual notes for each part. I think the first one's a dotted half note. The second one is a quarter note. But there's two there. And then for the F sharp 7, there are two harmony notes that are whole notes. So, let me slide this thing out of the way. Let me tell you what I did. I'll probably put some scrolling tab at the bottom of this so you can follow along at the beginning. But here we go. So, for the B minor chord, here's what I did. On the D string, in fact, all these notes are on the D string for this part. I slid into 9, which is a B note. That's the root note of B minor. For the F sharp 7, I went and slid in on the D string into the 8th fret. That is an A sharp note. That's the 3rd of F sharp 7. Okay, for the A, I went to the 7th fret of the D string, slid into the 7th fret. That's an A note. That's the root of A. Okay, for the E, I slid on the D string into the 6th fret. That's a G sharp note. That is the 3rd of E. For the G chord, I slid on the D string into the 5th fret. That's a G. That's the root note of G. Okay, next chord is D, and I slid on the D string into the 4th fret. Whoops. And then for the E minor, I slid on the D string into the 2nd fret. And then I stuck the 5th fret in as well, which is the 3rd, the B was the 5th, and then for the F sharp, I slid into the 4th fret. And that is a C sharp, that is the 5th of F sharp 7. Okay, now, let's do the high harmony part. For the B minor, I started by sliding on the G string into the 7th fret. And that's a D note, that is the 3rd of B minor. Next, I went for the F sharp 7, I slid on the G string into the 6th position. That's a C sharp note, that's the 5 of F sharp 7. Okay, now for the A, I stayed there and slid back into the 6th position, there, 6th fret. And that is the 3rd of A. The next one, for the E chord, I stayed on the G string and slid into the 4th fret. That's a B note. That is the 5 of E. Okay, keep going. For the G chord, I did the same thing. 4th fret, slid into it. And that is a B. That's the 3rd of G. Finally, almost finally, I've got the D chord. I'm going to slide on the G string into the 2nd fret. That's an A note. And that's the 5 of D. Okay, now for the E minor, there's two notes. The first one I'm going to put on the D string. I'm going to slide into 5. That's a G note. And that's the 3rd of E minor. Then there's one more note for the E minor. That is going to be the G string. I'm going to slide into 4. That's the 5 of E minor. And the final note for F sharp 7, I'm going to slide on the G string into the 3rd position. A sharp, that's the 3rd of F sharp 7. So, I guess what you can learn from this over time is that you can build harmonies with your lines, whether they be simple melodic lines like this, or complicated lines by using a combination of chord tones, usually the root, the 3rd, or the 5th, and some compilation. I'll put out a couple of videos that talk about this more in depth. It's really not that hard, but in essence, if you have a line that you're playing, as long as you know what scale you're playing out of, you duplicate the line by going up a third or a fifth from it, or below it if you want. Well, I'll outline that in upcoming videos. Okay, so I guess that's it for now. It's me, the Rock Doctor. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, order me a pizza. But again, not that vending machine stuff. It sucks. All right, I love y'all. I'm out of here. Bye.